Well, a very, very happy Thursday evening, everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Glad you could join me. This is our third Thursday night and going really well. And we're going to get to our coaches' crew questions. We got our coaches' mailbag. We got a lot to talk about on an off day for our San Diego Padres as they left after the ball game yesterday to get ready for a three-game series this weekend in Cincinnati. A few things, order of business here. Coming up a little bit later on, we're going to have a guest. And this guy isn't just a guest. I can't do this podcast by myself. And everybody thinks about the John Kentera Show, but there are people behind the scenes that do a hell of a job. And I got a young man that's going to join us tonight. His name is Jonathan Oliveri. He works with me on the podcast, does all the behind the scenes, but he's also very involved with the SD Collectibles card show that is coming to the Handlery Hotel on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to tell you all about it. We're going to give away a pair of passes tonight on the program, so stay tuned. Jonathan's going to join us probably right around 7:30 tonight. The other order of business, right off the top, one of my most loyal fans of all time, a young man by the name of Austin Prather. He has been following me forever. Well, he had some real serious surgery today. He went in this morning about 7 o'clock, came out at about 4 o'clock, and I just got the great news from his family that everything went well. He's going to be on the IL a little bit. He's not going to be able to bounce back right away. Going to take some time, but I guarantee you he's going to be tuning into this podcast and a lot of the podcasts in the next week or so once he's feeling a little bit better. But Austin Prather, I love you. I appreciate you being so loyal to me for so many years, and glad everything went very, very well today. When I make appearances, his parents would come, his grandparents would come, just a great young man. And it was a very serious surgery, but everything, thank goodness, went well for Austin today. So we're very excited about that. That was the best news I had all day, and I had a great day. I got up this morning, did a little work for the program, and then I went up to my old alma mater, Torrey Pines High School. My grandson, 7 years of age, at the Falcon baseball camp. And the young man that's running the baseball camp is a former player of mine and been a longtime coach at Torrey Pines. At one time, he was the athletic director, Matt Livingston, an incredible guy. Played for me in 87 and 88. He was our second baseman. Our shortstop was John Lynch. That was my double play combination. John Lynch at short, the general manager now of the 49ers and the Hall of Fame football player, over to Matt Livingston on to first base. So, Matty, a good, fundamentally sound coach, teaching my 7-year-old how to play the game the right way and respect the game, which he does. He loves baseball. So that was a good day. Then I come home. I watched a little bit of the Dodger game. The Dodgers won again, shocker. They beat the Rockies 3-1. Ohtani hit his 28th homer of the year. Clayton Kershaw, man, talk about throwing back the clock. He's 4-0 right now and had 5 strikeouts. He's only 3 strikeouts away from 3,000. And it's been a long time since we've had a guy go for 3,000, but I would imagine he'll get it in his next start, which will be either Tuesday or Wednesday at Dodger Stadium. But the Dodgers now, 20 games over 500 at 51-21. They've kind of put it into high gear, and really, some of their guys aren't swinging the bat well. I mean, even Ohtani with 28 home runs, he's not been real good the last couple of weeks. Mookie Betts is just in a real funk, and Freddie Freeman just not 100%. But they're still winning baseball games. But anyways, that was my day. And then I worked a little bit more. I went up, I watched the NBA draft a little bit. Well, I watched a lot of college basketball. There were a lot of guys getting drafted. I had no idea who the heck they were. But that was kind of my day. And excited for the show tonight. We got a lot to talk about. This is a big road trip for the Padres. Padres going to Cincinnati for 3, then on to Philadelphia. Then they'll be home next week. Bruce Bochy's coming in town next week. Look forward to seeing the Texas Rangers. But we got a lot to cover tonight. And again, if you're tuning in for the very, very first time, please subscribe. Please subscribe. We're trying to push our viewership to 4,000. We get to 4,000. We want to go to 5,000. I don't want to be Joe Rogan. I want to talk about what's going on in San Diego. and we're doing this. It's a labor of love more than anything else. We love doing that. Now, please subscribe, please like, and please turn on your notifications, and please get into our chat box. Want to get all your questions answered tonight. And if we don't get to all of them, you maybe write in after the show. We'll take a look and see what we can do on Monday. We always like to have a little coach's mailbag at the end of the program. I want to tell you a little bit about next week. It's the holiday week, and we're going to do a show on Monday, and then we're going to take the rest of the week off, and then we'll come back the following Monday, which will be July 7th. We'll be in rearing to go on July 7th. By the way, next week, I will be on San Diego Sports 760. I'll be working with Sammy Long on Wednesday and Thursday of next week. I'll be on from 12 to 2. So if you want to hear me back on the radio, I'll be back on the radio for a couple of days next Wednesday and Thursday on 760 a.m. And hopefully you'll join us. Okay, let's get to the Padres here. They took 2 out of 3 from Washington. They lost the first game, came back, won the final 2. Game on Wednesday afternoon. Luis Arraez, ground ball RBI single in the second inning. That was the ball game. Padres win 1-0. Some great pitching. Nick Pivetta. I got to believe right now, unless he just goes sideways here in the next couple of starts, I got to believe Nick Pivetta is going to the All-Star game in Atlanta. Manny Machado is going to be going to the All-Star game. Right now, he's a starting third baseman the way things are looking. I saw Ohtani and Judge, they were officially announced as All-Stars. Manny's leading the votes right now. So you've got Pivetta that's 8-2 and pitching great, and his ERA at 3.36. Now you got to remember, Nick Pivetta, coming into this year career-wise, his ERA was over 4. And he's just having a banner year and pitching so well. His numbers yesterday, 7 innings, 3 hits, no walks, and 10 punch-outs through 90 pitches in 7 innings. I mean, he was dealing and doing a great job. And there's some dangerous hitters. The first 3, 4 guys in that Washington lineup are dangerous. After that, a lot of holes. There's no question. That's why they're 33 and 48 right now. But they got the job done. Jeremiah Estrada, after not pitching all that well for a few outings, last couple outings has pitched very well. 1 inning and a punch out. Adrian Morejon came in, picked up the save, 1 inning, 1 strikeout. A lot of people say, well, if they didn't watch the game, what happened? How come Morejon? Where's Suarez? Well, Suarez was appealing. And yesterday, when I had the podcast in the morning, I mentioned they had not announced the suspension. And he appealed, and they got it knocked down 1 game. So he sat out yesterday, and he will sit out game 1 of the Cincinnati series on Friday night, and then Suarez will be ready to go. And you know what? This is not a bad thing. This is a good thing for Robert Suarez. He had some arm problems last year. Even in spring training, I think he was a little bit slow. That's okay. Whenever you can find a day or 36 hours or 48 hours to give a guy a blow, that's great. You're always trying to get your players off their feet, and especially a closer and a relief pitcher. You want to give them as much rest as you possibly can. So when you have an off day, or in this case, a suspension, it could be a blessing in disguise down the road. So Suarez will be ready for the game on Saturday. Offensively, Padres didn't do anything, really. I mean, Arraez had 3 hits. And then you look, Bryce Johnson, who's done a pretty good job. He's 5 for 12 right now since being called up, and it forced Brandon Lockridge back to the minor leagues. And I don't know if Brandon and his wife had their baby today. I've not gotten an announcement from the Padres on that, but he was scheduled to become a father today. So we'll probably talk more about that on Monday. And then Elias Diaz, he had 2 hits. That was the Padres offense against Washington. And Mackenzie Gore, man, he had to sue his ball club for non-support. I mean, this guy is pitching great. I mean, right now, Mackenzie Gore is 3-8. He's got a 3.09 ERA. And he pitched great. He gave up the 1 run in the second inning. He went 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run earned, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, 103 pitches. He has really developed nicely. And he's got 3 quality pitches. Got that good fastball, 97, 98. Got a good breaking ball, good slider. I mean, he has really developed. And really, he's pitching like an all-star. Unfortunately, he's 3-8. And Padres able to get the job done. So I'll take the win, folks. I'll take the win. And like I was talking to somebody with the Padres last night after the game before they boarded the plane to Cincinnati, um, you take any win. You're not gonna say I'm sorry. You're not gonna say, oh, we did this or we didn't do that. Hey, at the end of the year, my old theory: how many you have in the left column, how many you have in the right column. And Padres are doing a pretty good job right now, sitting at 44 and 36. Okay, let's get to some updates on injuries. I talked to somebody today regarding Xander Bogaerts. And this guy's been a longtime coach in San Diego. And we were talking about Xander Bogaerts. I think most of you know how I feel about headfirst sliding. Hate it. I hate it going into first base, into second, third, and especially home like Xander did the other night. And I realize guys are excited. They're trying to make a play. I get that. But we saw Jackson Merrill a few weeks ago get a concussion over in Arizona going head first, got hit in the head with the glove and missed time. That hurts the ball club. Xander Bogaerts the other night goes into the plate Tuesday night, out and out by quite a bit. Riley Adams, the young kid from Canyon Crest High School and USD, did a great job getting the ball, blocking the plate the way you're supposed to. And I can tell you, as being a guy that caught a lot, I love when guys come in head first. Back in my day, they didn't come in head first too often because catchers were taught how to properly block the plate, and the catchers loved it because they'll stick in there when they know they've got a guy that's sliding head first. There's no fear really, other than if you want to bowl them over Pete Rose style, and that's not going to happen much these days. Or Dave Parker when he ran over Steve Yeager. I remember one night when Parker was playing for the Pirates, and you have those bone-crushing collisions. We don't have many of those anymore. And all this rule was put in because of Buster Posey not knowing how to properly block home plate. And that's not arguable. Go back and look at the play. And they had to change all the rules because Buster Posey didn't know how to properly block the plate. He might be in the Hall of Fame. Doesn't matter. He still didn't know how to block the plate properly. And so Xander goes in the other night and he hurts his left shoulder. That's the shoulder that kept him out last year for almost 2 months. Remember when he fractured that shoulder diving for a ball to his left? I want to say it was in Washington, but it's irregardless. And Xander said, I was going to be out if I went feet first. Well, Xander, you were out by a ton when you were going head first. And he goes, I won't make that mistake again. I have never, ever been to a spring training. And I've been to a lot of spring trainings over the years. I've never been to a spring training where they had players go head first. Sliding drills, the old bent leg pop-up slide to where you hit, pop up, know where the ball is. If you get to third base, you can get to third base. Now, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago when Jackson went on the IL. If you're going to steal second base. You want to have your back to the throw. Okay, so if it's a bad throw, it's going to hit you in the back or it's going to hit you in the helmet or hit you somewhere where it's not going to hit you in the face. You go a feet or head first. I mean, a variety of things can happen. You could break your hand, you could break your wrist, you could break a finger. The ball could hit you in the face as you're sliding in. You could tear a shoulder up. A lot of things could happen. And yeah, you could always twist an ankle or break an ankle sliding feet first. I understand that. But I'm telling you, you hurt the ball club when you go head first. You're hurting your ball club, and the reason you're hurting them is because you're going to miss playing time. Xander didn't play on Wednesday. I don't know if he's going to play on Friday. I hope. I hope he comes back because he's really starting to hit now. But you can't go head first. And I was talking to this coach today, and he goes, you know what? He goes, I don't allow my team to do that. I know it's a cool thing to do. And I told him, I go, hey, I was always fine with my guys going back into a bag. You're trying to get picked off at first base. You dive back to the outside part, or you're diving back into second. Pitcher trying to pick you off, or the catcher's throwing down, or you're diving back to third when you're coming down on the outside, going back on the inside. So you're in foul territory going down, and then on the inside, going back to where they can't snap that throw. And again, you go into third base, you got your back to the catcher. You're not going to get hit in the face. You go head first, boom, you might take one right in the jaw. So you're hurting the ball club. And I'll tell you, if I was a minor league director, none of my guys would be doing that. They could go back into the bag head first, but they can't slide into a bag head first. They got to go feet first. They got to learn the old pop up slide, let alone the old fadeaway slide of Ted Williams and some of the players of yesteryear. I mean, it's a real art to slide properly. And, my grandson wanted an oven mitt. And I told my daughter, absolutely not. He doesn't get an oven mitt. He doesn't need an oven mitt unless he wanted to dive back into the bag. He doesn't need to put an oven mitt in his back pocket to look like whoever. Okay, I want the kid, and he does slide. That's actually a problem. He likes to slide. He slides all the time, even when he doesn't need to, which is probably not bad. But you don't need an oven mitt if you're not diving head first. Now, if he wants to because he's diving back into the bag, fine. I'll be a nice grandfather and I'll buy him an oven mitt. But not big on that. Not big on that. Freddie Freeman slides feet first. Ohtani slides feet first. I know Mookie goes, I think, head first, but he might wise up one of these days as well. I don't know why organizations tell their guys, hey, man, we got to go feet first. We're getting hurt. We got guys getting hurt. And in the minor leagues, when guys come into pro ball, down at the very lowest of minor leagues, tell them, hey, we're not going head first. I don't care what you did in high school. I don't care what you did in college. Go feet first. Okay, I'll get off on my soapbox, but I don't know about Xander. If he goes on the IL, I'm going to be irate when I show up on Monday because this guy has actually played very good shortstop, I think. I don't know what you think. I think he's played a great shortstop, and now he's actually starting to hit the last 2 weeks. But if he misses a month because he went headfirst into the catcher's shin guards at home plate, doesn't help the ball club. Okay, we got a bit of good news late last night on Wednesday night. Yu Darvish, this was like the biggest secret in the world. Where's this guy going to throw a simulated game? Are you serious? I guess they didn't want the media driving up to Lake Elsinore to watch the simulated game. Is it really that top secret? But anyways, Yu Darvish, right elbow inflammation. Wednesday night, pitched up at Lake Elsinore. A simulated game went 3 innings, 51 pitches. Apparently, against minor league hitters, he looked very good. He topped out at about 94, used all of his pitches. He had faced 14 batters, 6 strikeouts, a walk, 3 hits, no runs, and we'll see how he feels. I would imagine tomorrow when they're in Cincinnati, Mike Schill will meet with the media. What media is covering the Padres in Cincinnati, and I would hope somebody say, hey, how's Yu Darvish? I would imagine if Bob Scanlon's on the trip, I would imagine Bobby would ask that question. Okay. So there's your update. And then, of course, yesterday after we went off the air, Ryan Berger, after getting hit the other night on the forearm, elbow area, and then it ricocheted off his ribs, they put him on the IL, and they brought up Sean Reynolds. So it really kind of helped in kind of a goofy way because Suarez was suspended. They still got 8 guys in the bullpen, but that's where we're at right now with the Padres. Okay, we're going to get to some questions here in a minute, but I do want to get to some trade rumors. I was on 760 today with Travis, Rich Ornberger, and Sammy Long. I'm normally on with Sammy and Fletch on vacation. I think he went to Switchfoot last Saturday night, and I'm not sure anybody's seen him since. But nonetheless, I was on with them, and they were asking me all kinds of questions. They were asking me about A.J. Preller. If A.J. Preller's in any trouble, I don't think A.J.'s in any trouble. I just don't know what A.J. can do right now. I don't know what the ownership's going to allow him to do. We don't really have anybody to trade. But can we take on money at least? I don't know. The more money you take on, the less prospects you have to give up. Kind of common sense, isn't it? Okay, now there's 3 guys out there. And I'll be honest, I don't know if I like any of these guys right now because none of them are exactly hitting for much of an average. And I'll start with Luis Robert Jr., the most underachieving player just about, other than Anthony Rendon with the Angels, who's been out the entire year. Luis Robert Jr., 2-3 years ago, was supposed to be the next Mike Trout. Not even close. And I know Trout's missed a lot of time, but Trout's 10 times better than this guy. You go back a couple of years, Luis Robert Jr. Hit 38 homers, 20 stolen bases, won the Silver Slugger, an All-Star. This year, he got taken out of the game the other day. I think he had like a calf or a thigh or something. They took him out of the game. Will Venable took him out. He's hitting 185 with 8 homers, 32 RBIs, and a 584 OPS. Now, you could trade for him, and maybe a change of scenery. We saw the change of scenery for Gavin Sheets. Now, I would tell you this. I don't think this will affect Gavin Sheets' playing time at all if Luis Robert Jr. Came to San Diego. I think Sheets would be more the designated hitter than the left fielder. But I got to tell you, Sheets is an interesting guy for me because what are the Padres going to do? They're going to be able to bring him back next year? We'll have to wait and see. But before I ever made that deal, because it's not going to cut into Sheets' playing time, and I'm sure he would be completely honest. I would go, if I was AJ Preller or Josh Stein or one of the powers to be with the Padres, I would go to Gavin Sheets and said, hey, we're talking to the White Sox about Luis Robert Jr. Good guy. We know he's a talented guy. What kind of guy is he? Because let's face it, that situation in Chicago, and Will Venable walked into a combustible situation. I mean, they dumped Yohan Moncada. He's with the Angels, IL. And we've seen comments about the White Sox organization, how players would talk back to their previous manager. Last year, Pedro Grifol, and he was like being intimidated by players. Don't take me out for not hustling and this and that. Well, Luis Robert Jr., I don't know what kind of guy he is. I know last year he wasn't great, and this year he's been awful. And hitting 185, and here, a couple of years ago, this guy hit 38 home runs and was in the All-Star game. And here's the kicker. You could trade for him. You kind of like a rent-a-vet. Each of the next 2 years, he has club options for $20 million. Well, I wouldn't expect the Padres to pick up, $20 million, let alone $40 million, but they could have him for the rest of this year. And then they decline the club option, and he's a free agent. But maybe a change of scenery, working with Victor Rodriguez, being with a good ball club, maybe that could propel him into, the stardom that we saw in 2023. But he's been a gross underachiever for what people thought in baseball he was going to become. And he's only 27 years of age. Okay, then the other guy, Adolis Garcia, who was the big star for the Texas Rangers when they won the World Series 2 years ago. He had 39 homers and drove on 107 runs. Last year, 224 average, but hit 25 bombs, 85 RBIs. This year, he's been in and out of the lineup. He got benched for a short period of time by Bruce Bochy. 76 games, hitting 230, 17 doubles, 9 homers, 39 RBIs, a 672 OPS, and a WAR of 1.6. He's on a 2-year deal. Last year, he made 6.9. This year, he's making 5, and he becomes a free agent at the end of the year. That's another option. So I've given you Luis Robert Jr., and I've given you Adolis Garcia. And by the way, Garcia is going to be in town next week. So maybe AJ Preller and our buddy Chris Young, the former Padre right-hander who runs the Texas Rangers, maybe they'll consummate a deal or at least talk about it if they haven't already talked about it. And we know that AJ has a history with the Texas Rangers. So those are 2 guys. The third guy, and this is the guy that I've been talking about because he could probably drive down every day if he wanted for home games, and that's Taylor Ward, the 31-year-old left fielder for the Angels. Going to be a free agent at the end of the year. This year, making $7,825,000. Have to pay him probably for the last, 2.5 months. So I'll cut that $7,825,000 in half, or maybe only have to pay a quarter of it. Hitting 208, but you got 19 long balls. Driven in 53 runs, 738 OPS. You like him? Plays an adequate left field. None of these guys are Gold Glove guys. I mean, I think Luis Robert could be, but he's been in and out of the lineup his entire career in Chicago because of injuries. So all these guys that you would be bringing in would be vet. Okay, we've seen that work before, and you're not going to have to give up a top prospect, and the more money you take on, the less you're going to have to give up in prospects. I'm not giving up Salas. I'm not giving up DeVries. I'm not giving up Cash Mayfield. So tell me what you would do. Or, I mean, any of those three guys float your boat? Love to get your opinion on that. Okay, let's get to some questions tonight. I'm fired up, ready to roll on a Thursday night. I like these Thursday night shows, by the way. Live question. Richard Flores. Dodgers won again today. That must have been a good day for you. The Utley rule change plays up the middle. Infielders have lost the art of turning. MLB has become a pansy. They have taken the girl grit out of the game. Okay, here's the deal. Well, Ruben Tejada. Wasn't it Ruben Tejada, if I'm not mistaken? He turned the wrong way. You don't do that. He turned right into Utley. Now, granted, Utley was sliding through the bag. He wasn't sliding to the bag, but he was sliding through the bag like you're taught. And that was a legal play. The only thing that I would say, both players were wrong to a certain degree. Tejada turned the wrong way. He turned into the guy sliding rather than catching it and getting off the bag towards the right field side of the bag. But Utley also slid late. And so he was right on top of Tejada, and it made it even worse because he slid late and Tejada turned the wrong way. When I was playing ball, we used to throw actually body blocks into the shortstop or second baseman. Yeah, this big old body of mine, I used to throw body blocks into the second baseman. And you wouldn't go to the bat, you would go to where you thought the infielder was going to be. You anticipated where he was going to go once he caught the ball so you could take him out. You don't want to go to the bag because if he's quick, he's going to get off that bag. So you'd slide either inside or outside, depending on if it was a shortstop or second baseman turning in double play. But they've taken a lot of the, as you call it, the grit out of the game. I totally agree. And having been an ex-catcher, I love those plays at the plate. My dad taught me when I was very young, get low. And when those guys try to bowl you over, take them on. Low man wins, and you throw them over your left shoulder. Boom. Did that all the time. And of course, I was a big kid. But I saw other guys that weren't nearly as big as me. They were taught the right way to block the plate, and they would do a good job of not taking too much of a heat unless it was like a bang bang play and you didn't have a chance to get yourself set down there. But you stay low and they come in, you hang on to the ball with two hands, and you just throw that guy over your left shoulder. That's the way you block the plate, folks. Richard, thank you very much, and I couldn't agree with you more. Game's changed a lot. It really has. Tyler M. Coach, which Padre players would you pick for MVP right now after 80 games so far? Manning's number one, and I think Nick Pavetta's number two. I'd like your take on that. I think Manny's been, he got off to a little bit of a slow start, but he's done a great job. And I know he hasn't had the best year right now fielding. He made 11 errors, I think it is, but he's still a Gold Glove caliber guy. He's never won a Gold Glove, by the way. He won 2 Gold Gloves both early in his career with Baltimore. Hadn't even come really close to winning one in the National League, and maybe this will be the year. Wouldn't it be funny if he made it this year? Because he's probably made more errors this year than he's made in his career in San Diego. But, we've got a long ways to go, but he has made some fantastic plays. And the thing that it's not so much fielding the ball, it's the way he throws from different angles. He throws on the run. Man, he is so accurate. Whoever taught him how to play baseball down there in Florida, and obviously he's got tremendous, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. We know that. But somebody, when he was very, very young, really taught him the right way to go about his business defensively. There's no question about it. He's a special defender. He really is. I look around baseball right now, and I know he's given a little bit of ground in St. Louis this year with his average, but Nolan Arenado, probably as good a third baseman as I've ever seen. And I saw Brooks Robinson play, when he was with Baltimore, but Manny and Matt Chapman, who's been out with the Giants, and Arenado, those three guys could play third base in any era. I mean, Manny, Arenado, and Chapman are in a class by themselves defensively, in my opinion. There may be people out there that would argue that, but right now, currently, those three guys can play defense with anybody in the history of the game all time. And, I don't know if Chapman will be a Hall of Famer. I think Arenado will be, and I'm pretty sure Manning will be as well. But Tyler, thank you very much. But I got to go with Manny. I got to go with Nick Pavetta. Appreciate that a great deal. What is it? I hope Manny wins the starting all-star slot over Muncy. He deserves it. Well, he's a better defensive player. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Muncy, two things about Muncy. Number one, he's gotten himself, he dropped some weight. And I was watching the game, I guess it was last night, and I said, man, Muncy, I thought was going to be a complete and utter disaster at third base, but the Dodgers knew more about what he was all about than I did. But I got to tell you, he's not a Gold Glover, but he's not a hindrance down there. Muncy's doing a pretty damn good job down there. Now he's hitting. What do you have? 6 RBIs last night, and was it Sunday? He had 7. I mean, he's on a hot streak. How many Dodgers are going to the All-Star game? I mean, realistically, Mookie Betts has not had an all-star season. Freeman has, Will Smith has, obviously Ohtani, Teoscar Hernandez, Pages, their center fielder. They got a lot of guys going. And I don't know from their pitching. It'll be interesting. But, yeah, Muncy may get in and, come in and back up Manny. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But Manny's got to be the starter. I mean, Manny... with an 0 for 4 yesterday, his average dipped under 300 for the first time in a couple of months, hitting 298 right now. But his power numbers have gotten better. And when Manny's playing well, this team's playing well. I'll be honest with you, I don't think Fernando's going to get a call. Now, he may get a call, but we'll have to wait and see. But Fernando hitting, 261 right now. His power numbers really are not like we thought they would be. What's he got, 14 home runs right now? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I appreciate that very much, that question. Good stuff on that. Groovy T. Luis Robert is the answer. He's got the it factor, power, speed, threat, just needs to change the scenery. I would not disagree with that. I mean, of the 3 guys that I mentioned, Luis Robert Jr., Adolis Garcia, Taylor Ward, Luis Robert, 27 years of age, and it's not saying that you would pick up the 20 million option for 26 and for 27, be a total of 40 million. I don't think the Padres at this point in time can afford that. I don't know what the Padres can afford. We're going to need pitching next year. I know Musgrove's coming back, but he'll probably be on an innings restriction. Darvish is going to be a year older. He hadn't even come back this year. Michael King, probably a good chance he won't be here. Dylan Cease probably not going to be here. I mean, what is our pitching going to look like next year? But Luis Robert Jr., if he could come in with a great attitude, work with Victor Rodriguez, maybe he could be the guy that could really put us over the top offensively. Wouldn't that be great? Because he is a talented guy, but he's not Mike Trout like they thought he was going to be. All right, what else we got? Got another question in there right now. All right, we made through 26 games in 27. Ended up going 13-13. Now we're getting healthy. What win total is needed to get into the playoffs? Whew. I would say a minimum of 86. I mean, take a look at Milwaukee. Take a look at the Cardinals. Take a look at Cincinnati. Cincinnati right now, they got 42 wins. That division, keep your eye on. Giants got the pitching. The Giants have good pitching. Now, they've really squandered a couple of opportunities at home against the Marlins. Marlins had their way with them the last couple of days. And Bob Melvin was facing the music last night. Matt Williams sent Jung Ho Lee and got thrown out in the 9th inning. They ended up getting beat 8-5 in 10 innings last night, and they got beat again today by the Marlins. So I would say 86 at a minimum. But weird things happen. You never know. You just never know. But, yeah, they got through that 27-game stretch, 13-13. Hopefully they can close out the month of June with a good series this weekend in Cincinnati. Okay, it's time right now to bring on a big part of our show. This gentleman right now has been working with me for several months. Sammy Long was our producer, and Sammy got that nice gig on 760 AM. And so we were out there hunting all over for quality people. And this guy stood out among them all. His name is Jonathan Oliveri, and he's going to join us for the very first time on the John Kentera Show, even though he's produced so many now. And Jonathan, welcome to the program. And boy, I'll tell you what, these Thursday night shows have been going absolutely fantastic.
I know. I like them. I like them. It feels a little weird being on the screen. It feels like I maybe hit the wrong button, but yeah, no, the Thursday night shows are great. People seem to like them, especially on these off days when, we're all missing some Padres, no game. So, we like to hop on here and get talking.
All right, we got a lot to get to, you and I tonight. SD Collectibles Card Show this week in
Yeah.
Henry Hotel, Mission Valley. Saturday, it gets underway at 10 o'clock, runs to 6, and then Sunday, back at it again from 10 to 5. You and your family have been very involved in this. I know you have a lot of them at the handlery. I also know that you had a card and memorabilia show a few weeks ago at Liberty Station. It was
Yeah.
a marvelous success.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was our first. That's a new location that we added. That was our first one that we did there. My dad and his friend Aaron, they run the shows, and then me and my brother Joey, we help out on the side, and then we sell at the shows as well. So, yeah, we're always adding new locations, bigger shows, just always trying to improve it and get better. And this weekend coming up is sort of a testament to what we've built on. We have a 2-day show at the Handler Hotel, like you mentioned, starting Saturday. It's 10 to 6 Saturday, 11 to 5 Sunday. So they're great shows if you like sports, Pokemon. It's got it all: football, basketball, baseball. It's got something for everybody there. And they're a blast.
Okay, I just want to make sure, is it 11 to 5 on Sunday or 10 to 5?
It's 10 to 6 on Saturday, and then it's 11 to 5 on Sunday.
Okay, because we had our thing up on there. I just wanted to make sure so people don't show up an hour earlier. It might not be a bad idea because I know there are going to be some long lines when you try to get in originally. For the fans that have never been involved in going to a collectibles or a card show that may have a lot of cards and or magazines, and what should we expect when we walk into the Handlery Hotel? Because I'm coming on Saturday.
Yeah, you're going to be there. So it's going to be a lot of vendors with a lot of different items. There's going to be Pokemon's real big right now. Everybody likes Pokemon, but there's also lots of sports. Baseball's hot right now because the season's going. Obviously, everybody's in San Diego likes their Padres, so everyone's buying their Merrills, their Tatis, Machados. But yeah, you're gonna show up to the show. There's going to be 4 different rooms, tons of vendors, over 120 tables.
Wow.
Everything. There's going to be not just cards. There's going to be, I'll be set up myself there. There's memorabilia. So there's I have some items here. So we have some Tony Gwynn signed baseball. You can't go wrong with Gwynn. We've got some Pacific Coast League Padres signed things. I mean,
wow.
There's everything. Some mini batting helmets. This has Gwynn and some guys from 2003. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff there. If you like sports, especially San Diego sports, but everything, even East Coast teams and all of that, there's going to be something there for you.
Now, you mentioned Pokemon, but I mean, do they have comic books that people come in and sell? Comic books are pretty popular still to buy, aren't they?
Oh yeah, comic books. There's some. The vendors differ each time, but there's comic books there. There's even, and if you like comic books, there's also trading cards, like Marvel trading cards, different superhero ones. They even have Disney trading cards. So there's everything there. But there are comic books, some NASCAR stuff. There's a little bit of everything.
Well, let me ask you this, and I know beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
When it comes to this, and you talk about mint condition, pristine, and then you got one that somebody may have put their card in the spokes of their bike or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get cards are in various condition.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Tatis or Jackson Merrill. Is it a Topps? I mean, what are those going for? Kind of in the neighborhood.
Yeah, so it varies. You could, there's like you mentioned, it depends on condition. I have some cards here, so they'll be graded. So here's a LaDainian Tomlinson. This one is a 9. But yeah, everyone wants the Gem Mint 10, obviously. But man, for even those guys that you mentioned there, like Tatis, Machado, Merrill, you could find, their cards are going to range anywhere from $10 to thousands of dollars. There's some Merrill. Yeah. There's some ones. So it's hard to say, here's the ballpark. You could, if you specifically go into his Bowman Chrome or, his Topps Chrome rookie, this and that. But now there's, when you, I remember my dad telling me stories when he collected cards and it would be the set and they'd have one rookie card. They just had their one base card. Now there's, they'll have their rookie card. Then they'll have there's all different colors of the rainbow. There'll be a yellow, red, prism, all these different ones. So there's so many different cards. It's almost hard to keep up with. Even myself, I'm still always learning and all that. But yeah, the price range, like you'll see when you're there Saturday, it gets pretty crazy, especially for those guys like Merrill, who's like a young star right now. His stuff, there's cards that aren't very cheap. Yeah.
Jonathan Oliveri, our guest here on the John Kentera Show on YouTube. And Jonathan, let's talk a little bit about the Chargers. Okay,
Yeah.
not the LA Chargers, but the San Diego Chargers. You were telling me a couple of weeks ago when I was getting all kind of excited about this because I've got, like 52,000 baseball cards. And,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to bringing my one son-in-law and my 7-year-old grandson who's, a baseball rat already.
Yeah.
And I told him today that we're going. He got this look on his face. He's so excited. He's almost overwhelmed,
Awesome.
I think. And when
That's
he walks in and sees hundreds of people, it's going to be absolutely crazy. But you were
Yeah.
talking about one of the things that you're a San Diego kid.
Yep.
You've got kind of an affinity for the old San Diego Chargers, not
Yeah.
the NFL Chargers, but the AFL Chargers.
I do. Yeah. Yep. So I have my website, sdsportsman.com. But yeah, as a kid, I remember going to those training camps they're in the early 2000s with LT Rivers, with my dad and brother to get autographs. And so I was always like hooked into the San Diego Chargers, obviously being born and raised here. But yeah, then as I got older and I started, I got a job and I had some money to spend, I started buying cards and memorabilia. And then, just being a fan, the history of the team really captivated me. So, I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, like the AFL years with Paul Lowe, Ron Mix, Lance Allworth, John Hadel, like those years really interest me. Like I enjoy, and part of my website is sort of, it's like an online museum where I'm just telling the story of San Diego sports history through the memorabilia in my collection. So yeah, those early years, and I've had the privilege to meet a lot of those players and talk with them, for like Paul Lowe and Ron Mix, about their experiences. And yeah, those AFL years when the team was just forming, obviously it came here in 1961. That's what really interests me. And I have a few things here, like a couple of the AFL guys. We have like a Ron Mix rookie, intellectual assassin, and then a Paul Lowe one as well. So yeah, I mean, same with the Padres too, like back from the Pacific Coast League days and in their early years in the MLB. Just that's what I enjoy. I like the history of the teams. I enjoy rooting for, well, the Padres now. Chargers left, but I just enjoy the history of the teams too, kind of knowing where they came from and respecting that.
How do you go about becoming a collector? I mean, obviously you sell stuff too, but how do you go about getting a lot of the inventory?
Yeah, a lot of it is, well, the main thing is like eBay. Everybody likes to go on eBay, but the cool thing with living in San Diego and growing up here and being a fan of the San Diego teams is, going to garage sales, going to swap meets, and then and just kind of finding these. It's almost like a treasure hunt when you go and you're able to find a piece to add to your collection. So there's been, I've probably added items to my collections from so many different avenues and so many different ways, whether it be garage sales or things like that, or on my website, people reaching out like, hey, my dad was a fan and he, I have all this stuff that we've been collecting over the years, but, and when they left for LA, a lot of people were selling their collections. So I've gotten things from so many different ways, but yeah, I got into collecting, like I said, when I got a job and I started there were some card shows here in San Diego, and then it's just sort of snowballed from there.
Okay, let me ask you this. Aside from the Chargers and the Padres,
yeah,
in San Diego sports, what is popular among collectors? Take away the Chargers and take away the Padres.
At the moment right now what I see at the card shows, I see a lot of Wave fans around. The soccer is kind of taken off the past couple of years. That was kind of led by the Sockers. Everybody in San Diego, there's obviously a lot of soccer fans here, and we had the San Diego Sockers, which you're very familiar with, being the GM at one point. But yeah, right now I'd say the two soccer teams, the Wave and then San Diego FC. I see a lot of those jerseys walking around, people asking, oh, do you have soccer cards? And there's not a lot out there yet. They're just starting to kind of to start doing the soccer cards. These card companies, they've done like the international ones, but they're just starting to to kind of make the MLS real big, and the Wave even have some cards. So that's kind of taken off the Aztecs. Now with NIL, there's a card company who put out some Aztec cards, like Sean Lewis and some of the players that are playing now. So yeah, I mean, it's still ruled by the Padres and Chargers, but we're starting to see kind of soccer make a splash. I think that's going to be an underrated one.
Do we have any old memorabilia of the original San Diego Gulls or the Gulls from the late 60s, early 70s? Willie O'Ree cards?
I know, yeah. Those surprise, not many cards that I see, but I'm a big ticket guy. Like, I enjoy collecting ticket stubs from games, which is kind of like a dying thing because nobody has them anymore. Like, I have an LT one from when he broke the record in 2006, but nice. now everything's digital and on the phones. But yeah, I get some goals stuff every once in a while. I come across some hockey sticks, a lot of like Willie O'Ree bobbleheads. They've done a lot of bobblehead.
He's a wonderful man. Absolutely great human being.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so but not as much. It's surprising how few goal stuff that I come across. Yeah.
Every time you've talked to me about tickets, I want to just bang my head against my table because there are two tickets when you're 10 years old or 14 or 15 years old, you don't think about that back then.
Right.
And maybe one of these days, if I ever get to it, unpack a lot of my memorabilia. I would love to have the ticket stub to April 8th, 1969, Houston at San Diego, the first Padre game ever, because I was at the game, but I was 10 years old. And then a few years later, I think it was 75, Pele played at Balboa Stadium, and they helicoptered into the midfield stripe. And I wish I'd have had the ticket stub for that. Those are the two I wish I really had.
Yeah. Was Pele was it a New York soccer team that he was playing?
Yeah, he was the New York Cosmos playing against the San Diego franchise. I want to say they were the Jaws. I can't remember. I think it was the Jaws at that time. And they only lasted about a year here. Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's hard. I mean, like you mentioned before, even with cards and tickets, were back then just thought of, okay, you get in the stadium, then you toss them. But I mean, so nobody was really keeping those. Because like you mentioned, even cards, which you kind of knew were going to be, were made to be collected. And even those, like you said, people were putting in their bike spokes and things like that. So,
well, I guarantee you, if you ask my mom, who's long deceased now, or you ask my wife, who's still very much alive, they would both tell you that I'm a pack rat and I keep everything when it's regarding sports.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I'm sure you got some treasure sitting around. Yeah. But that's the cool thing about being in San Diego. There's so many people who have been here their whole lives and attended some of these games that, I mean, there's still some really good things that I'm sure are just buried away in closets. And which is another reason I love going to these shows, not only like to sell things, which is always fun because it just funds my collection. But I always enjoy people coming to me, and I'm always buying stuff. So every show people are bringing me things. So, they dig in their closets, their attics, they're cleaning out things, doing spring cleaning. And I'm always buying tickets, programs, cards, anything San Diego. I mean, people have brought me game worn items, all kinds of stuff. So it's fun hearing those stories from those people, how the game they attended, or the item they collected, or the signature that they got in that moment meeting the player. It's always fun to hear and see the joy in their eyes when they kind of relive those moments.
All right, we got three things to get to. Number one, it's right behind you there. Tell the fans, go in depth a little bit more about your personal website.
Yeah. So pretty much what it is, it's an online museum is kind of like what I like to say it is. So I have a lot of items in my collection that I've accumulated over the years. And right around COVID is when I first started my website, because like a lot of people, I was at home just bored going through stuff. And I realized like I have some really unique items that are in my collection, and I just wanted to share them with fans and other people in San Diego. And then while also sort of teaching people about, and I'm no expert, but just sort of teaching people about the history of the teams here in San Diego. So what my website is there's a tab in there that says the collection. So you go in there and it's organized. There's tabs on the side. It's like AFL Chargers, San Diego Chargers. There's Aztec items. So each item on there is an item that I have in my collection, and it just sort of goes in depth into that item. whether it could be a ticket to a game, so like of a historic game. Like I have a ticket from the Epic in Miami that's signed by Kevin Menza, so that's a good one. It's cool to just sort of tell people about those games, or sometimes it's even more specific than a ticket stub, and it's like a game-worn jersey or helmet. Like I have Kenny Graham, who was a safety in the 60s for the Chargers.
I remember him very well. He was one of the very first guys to return an interception for a touchdown and throw it into the stands. And I think he got $100 fine for it.
Man, and that was a lot.
33, Kenny Graham.
Yep, yeah. So I have his game-worn helmet, and that was kind of a crazy find, like a garage sale find. So I had all these items, and I thought I really want to share these with people and tell the history. So yeah, each item on there is accompanied by like an in-depth sort of report that I've typed up about that player or that moment in San Diego sports. So it's my way to reach out and sort of share my items with fans, while also people will contact me. There's a way to contact me through there and just sort of tell me about their experiences. I always enjoy talking with fellow fans, even if they don't root for the Chargers anymore, or just sort of hearing those stories. It's really fun to me because I've had those experiences myself, and then it's fun to hear. I wasn't around when the Air Coryell days were going on, so I mean I can watch all the highlights on YouTube, but it's really nice to hear it from people who were there and experienced it to kind of know what it's like. So that's kind of what my website does from my point of view, and just helps me connect with the fans.
Okay, and again, give out that website again.
Yep, so it's sdsportsmem.com. Got it right up here too. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. So I'm always posting on there different items, or when the shows are coming up also. On my website too, there's a future show dates. So we do the card shows. Like this is a 2-day show that's coming up this weekend, but we do just 1-day shows, just Saturdays, 2 a month. So we do one at St. Dunstan's Church in La Mesa, and we do one at Hanlery Hotel as well. So
well, you got the card collectors and memorabilia people very happy, because for a long period of time they had stuff at the Scottish Rite, and then that got knocked down, and people are clamoring for being able to go out and look at memorabilia, buy memorabilia, and exchange ideas. Okay, last thing. Tell us everything we need to know when we show up, either for me on Saturday or for folks that are going to come out maybe after church on Sunday. What do they need to know, and where can they get more information?
Yeah, so you can go to my website, that links it, but you can also go to sdcollectibles.com. You can go on there. You can even pre-purchase your tickets now for the show, but you can always buy them at the door there. Purchasing them online just helps kind of speed through the process, get you in the doors quicker. But yeah, so you can buy the tickets on there. All the pricing is listed out on there and the times. And then parking there, it's only $2 all day parking right there at the hotel. So
best deal in San Diego parking wise.
I know. Yeah, you can't beat that. Now it seems like every time, it's getting more and more expensive. So, but yeah, so sdcollectibles.com. It's on the bottom ticker there as well. So people can go to that, and all the information is going to be there. But I would say if you're a collector and you want to get there and get the big deals quick and early, getting there early is obviously great for that. But if you're just wanting to come by, cruise, and check things out, come by anytime. I mean, even if you come right near the end or the beginning, there's still going to be plenty of deals and plenty of vendors there.
Get it while it's hot. Hey, last thing before I let you out of here on this, and a great job of explaining everything. I'm really excited about this. We'll have to let people know from time to time when you're putting these on, or if you got something special on your website that you're got up that they can take a look at. You want to give away some tickets tonight?
Yeah. So we're going to give away 2 weekend passes. So what I'm going to do is, after Coach kicks me off here and I'm back behind the scenes, I'm going to comment a link down in the live comments here. And it's exclusive just for the people in the chat here. So what you can do is you can go on there, enter your name, phone number, and email. So when we pick a winner, that's how we'll send the tickets to you. It'll be a QR code. So go on there. Like I said, as soon as I hop off on here, I'm going to throw it up in the comments, click that link, and then I'll go on my Instagram after and pick 2 winners from those names. So then they'll be contacted that way. But that'll be 2 weekend passes, so you'll be able to get in Saturday and Sunday with those.
That's a good deal, putting a couple
Yeah.
people on scholarship.
Exactly. Yeah. Come on and check it out, and I'll be there. You'll see my banner here behind me. You won't miss me. I'll be right by the entrance.
All right, Jonathan. Good job as always. And you know how much I
Appreciate it.
appreciate what you do for me in this podcast.
Yeah, thank you. It's a blast. I enjoy bringing this content to Padre fans and just sports fans in general.
There you go. Jonathan Oliveri, my partner in crime on the John Kentera show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Okay, we got to get to a couple more things here before we get out of here. And again, if you want to send in questions, we don't get to them tonight. We'll get to them on Monday. And again, next week, we're just going to have the one show. I'm going to be on radio a couple of days next week, Wednesday and Thursday on 7 to 60. And then Friday, we got the 4th of July. But I want to talk a little bit about this weekend. Padres going in to Cincinnati, and I think it's a very scary ball club. They got a Hall of Fame manager in Terry Francona back in the game. I think doing a pretty good job, even though his team's in fourth place right now in the NL Central. They're 42 and 39, and they're right there. I mean, they're pushing for a wild card spot. You look at the Central right now. Cubs at 48 and 33. They got a 3-game lead over Milwaukee, who's 45 and 36. St. Louis got beat today, shut out in Chicago. They're 44 and 38, 4.5 games back. Cincinnati, as I mentioned, 42 and 39, 6 games back in the division. And then Pittsburgh at 32 and 50, 16.5 games back. This is a dangerous ball club. It's a small ballpark, Great American Ballpark. There should be a lot of offense this weekend. I look at Cincinnati and a guy that's really been kind of coming on, even though he strikes out a ton still. He struck out over 200 times last year. How about 218 times this guy struck out? Ellie De La Cruz. He's 23 years of age, a shortstop, got a cannon arm, runs like a gazelle, got big time power, hit 25 dingers last year, got 18 homers already this year, 55 RBIs, hitting 277 and 862. OPS, 21 stolen bases, but he'll get caught every once in a while, get picked off. He's been caught stealing 6 times, but he's an electric player, and he's a guy that can turn a fastball around in a hurry. They got a good ball club. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the pitching matchup this weekend. Friday night, Dylan Cease, 3-6 and a 4.43 going against right-hander Nick Martinez. Nick, former Padre, not having a great year record-wise, 4.8 ERA, a little bit high at 4.40. The game on Friday is at 4:10. Saturday, right-hander Randy Vasquez, who's pitched great this year, 3-4 and a 3.60, going against a pretty good left-hander and Andrew Abbott, 7-1 and a 1.79. That's going to be an afternoon game, by the way, on Saturday at 1:10, and then the finale. Sunday, you've got Stephen Kolek, 3-3 and a 3.95 ERA, going against a good young left-hander Nick Lodolo out of TCU, 5-5 and a 3.63. That'll be a 10:40 start. And then the ball club will be on the way to Philadelphia. And Philadelphia, you know what they're all about. And this is going to be a very interesting road trip for the Padres. Padres, their schedule's not easy here leading up to the All-Star break. But good stuff on that. Hey, before we get to our coach's mailbag, let's take a look at the National League West standings. Everything's in the book. Had an abbreviated schedule today. Dodgers, I mentioned, won 3-1. Kershaw, the winner, 4-0. 51 and 31. They're starting to put it into high gear. They're 1-8 of their last 10. The Padres sitting at 44 and 36. They climb back into second place with the Giants losing last night and again today. So the Padres at 44 and 36. The game Friday night will be the halfway point. 81 games. Padres have played 80. That's where they're at right now. 6 games back. The Giants at 44 and 37, 6.5 back. The Diamondbacks, they got all kinds of injuries. They're trying to hang in there. Are they going to be buyers or sellers? Only time will tell on that. They're 41 and 39, 9 games back. In Colorado, 18 and 63, 32.5 games back. So there you have it. Okay, let's get to Coach's mailbag. See what we got in the mailbag, and then we'll let you get on with your evening. All right. Coach, do you think the Padres can turn things around this road trip? Hey, if they could go 500 on this road trip, I'd be happy. Um, get 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati because the Padres struggle against Philadelphia. They really struggle. If you drop 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati, you may be looking at a 2-4 or 1-5 road trip, and that would not be cool. That would not be cool. We're gonna have to wait and see. I'm waiting to see what on Friday night what Mike Schultz says about Darvish and what the next move is going to be for Darvish. And King's back throwing, but just throwing very lightly right now. But we'll have to wait and see. I'll take a 500 road trip, but let's get at least 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati and see what happens in Philadelphia. Philadelphia just seems like they have our number for some reason. Well, one of the reasons they got a damn good team and they got a deep lineup. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. Kingslayer, will the pitching give them a resurgence soon when King, Darvish, and others come back? Yeah, you would think, but when are those guys coming back? There's no guarantee either one of those guys are really coming back. I'm not going to believe it till I see him out on the mound and throw 5 or 6 innings. King, they're saying August after the All-Star break. So we'll at least while he's back throwing. And Darvish, let's see if he's going to have to throw harder than 94. I know he's got 11 different pitches, but he's going to have to throw harder than 94 miles an hour against big league hitters. They're going to make an adjustment on that very quickly. But it sounds like to me he's having to reinvent himself because when he throws a little bit harder, he seems to be having some problems. So maybe he can work his way back there. But I know when he had that simulated game not too long ago, he was talking when he threw 97, his shoulder didn't feel right. And it seems like 94 is kind of his max right now. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But hey, you get him back, you're gonna be a lot deeper. But are they going to be healthy and they're going to be able to get the job done? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm not going to worry about it till they get back on the mound. All right, what else we got tonight? Okay. Wims at 44. What do you think of the All-Star game being midseason? Do you think it should be moved? No. When are you going to move it? Not going to play it before the season. You're not going to play it after the World Series. Guys will have sat around for 3 weeks or a month. Guys are on vacation. Their wives wouldn't like it either. I like it. It's been like that for years. This is going to be the 95th All-Star game. I don't think we're going to change it now. I'm fine with it. I just like guys to actually play to win, like they did when I was a kid growing up. Willie Mays and Hank Aaron and Harmon Killebrew and those guys, they would give the fire and brimstone speech. And that's when they used to have league presidents. And the league presidents would come in and give a Newt Rockne speech to the AL All-Stars and the NL All-Stars. They wanted to win. And guys used to play like 9 innings. It wasn't like this, play an inning or two and get out of there. I mean, pitchers went 3 innings. Randy Jones, when he won the 1976 All-Star game, he went 3 innings. That was customary. If you're the starting pitcher, you're throwing 3 innings unless you get in trouble and they got to get you out. Now you throw 1 inning and, oh, my God, guy's arm might fall off. But it's the way the game's changed. But it used to be a big deal to win that All-Star game. But it is what it is. Okay, good show tonight. Really good show. Maybe I'll see you on Saturday. I'm going down to the card show. I'm looking forward. It's going to be great at the Handlery Hotel. 10 to 6 on Saturday, 11 to 5 on Sunday. Get out there. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be like a kid in a candy store. I really am. And I'm taking my son-in-law, my one son-in-law. I got 2 son-in-laws. They're both good guys, by the way. I'm going to take one of them, and then we're going to take my 7-year-old grandson because he's playing Little League and going to baseball camps and loves baseball. Thinks he's Manny Machado, I think. So we're going to do that on Saturday afternoon. So I got a big weekend. Tomorrow night, I'm watching my 11-year-old granddaughter play soccer. Saturday morning at 8 a.m., I'm going to watch my 10-year-old granddaughter play for the Encinitas Express out at the SoCal Complex in Oceanside. She's a goalie. Then we're going to the card show. And then on Sunday, I'm going down to watch my 16-year-old granddaughter play in a junior Olympic beach volleyball tournament. So I got a big weekend and wrapped around watching Padre baseball and whatever else baseball I can watch. So it's going to be a fun weekend. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Again, leave your comments and make sure to write in that information. You might be our lucky winner for a couple of tickets to the collectibles show at the Handlery this weekend. Again, they're going to be good for both Saturday and Sunday. And again, Monday, we'll be in at 9 a.m. That'll be our only show next week. Make sure to subscribe, like, turn on the notifications, and tell a friend. Until Monday, have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for tuning into the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Good night. Bye-bye.